The check for $1 million trembled slightly in my hand as I signed it over to the director of Shady Oaks Nursing Home. In that moment, I believed I was honoring the woman who had quietly stood by me and Callie when no one else would. But by the time the ink dried, I had unknowingly set in motion a chain of revelations that would shatter the fragile peace we had built and force every one of us to confront the ugly truths hiding behind polite family smiles and societal expectations. My name is Raina Thompson, a 34-year-old tech executive living in Chicago with my wife Callie. We had been together for 5 years, married for 4. The road had not been easy. Callie's family, the Hayes, were deeply conservative, and from the moment we came out as a couple they had made their disapproval known through cold shoulders and passive-aggressive comments at gatherings. Her mother, Evelyn, was the exception. In private she had sent us encouraging notes, small financial gifts, and once even a beautiful painting for our apartment, saying she only wanted her daughter to be happy. Those gestures kept us going through the tough times. Evelyn had been placed in Shady Oaks after a reported stroke 18 months ago. According to Derek, Callie's older brother, who held power of attorney, her condition had deteriorated rapidly with confusion and memory loss. I had visited a few times but always felt something was off. The donation was my way of giving back, hoping to improve her care with new equipment and staff. The director was thrilled and gave me full access to the facility as a major donor. During the tour I asked to see Evelyn. The head nurse, Rosa, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, hesitated at first but relented after I mentioned the $1 million gift. Evelyn was in her room by the window, looking thinner than I remembered, but her eyes lit with recognition when I entered. "Raina," she whispered, gripping my hand tightly. "I never stop supporting you and Callie. Derek makes me take the pills to shut me up. He does not want me telling people I approve of your marriage. It would ruin the family image. Please help me." Her words were cut short as a male orderly entered, quickly administering medication and asking me to leave for her rest. His demeanor was suspicious, avoiding eye contact. That night the words haunted me. I could not shake the feeling. Using my connections, I requested detailed medical records under the donor pretext. What I uncovered was horrifying. Prescriptions for heavy sedatives and antipsychotics far beyond standard dementia treatment, pushed through by Derek. Staff notes mentioned Evelyn repeatedly trying to contact media or lawyers to publicly declare her support for our union before being subdued with drugs. The family had been systematically drugging her to prevent any public endorsement of our lesbian marriage, fearing backlash in their business circles and church community. My generous donation had opened the door to this discovery. Now I had to decide what to do. Telling Callie would break her heart. Staying silent would make me complicit in abuse. The internal conflict tore at me as I drove home, the weight of the decision pressing down. Our life in Chicago had finally found some stability, with my career thriving, and Callie teaching at a local college. Exposing this could bring media scrutiny, social ostracism, and family war. Yet letting it continue was unthinkable. The price of my action was about to be paid by all of us. Callie was setting the table when I walked into our apartment overlooking Lake Michigan. Her smile faded as she saw my expression. "Raina, what is it?" she asked, putting down the plates. I sat her down and laid out the records, starting with Evelyn's whispered plea, then the evidence of excessive medication. Her face went white as she read. "This cannot be true," she said, voice breaking. "Derek would not do that to Mom. He is protecting her." The argument that followed was one of the worst we had ever had. Callie accused me of being paranoid, of hating her family so much I saw conspiracies everywhere. I countered with the facts, the secret support Evelyn had shown us over the years, the inconsistencies in the medical reports. Deep down I knew this was not just about evidence. It was about Callie's lifelong struggle with family loyalty versus her love for me. She had sacrificed so much already by marrying me against their wishes. Now this threatened to destroy what was left of her relationship with her brother, who had stepped up as father figure after their dad died young. I held her as she sobbed, feeling every ounce of her pain. The moral dilemma was crushing her. Was Derek acting out of misguided protection or selfish preservation of the family business reputation? The next morning I hired a private investigator. His findings confirmed my fears. Derek had been paying extra to certain staff to ensure Evelyn remained disoriented. He had even altered visitor logs to limit her contact with outsiders. The reason was clear in emails the investigator obtained. Derek feared Evelyn's public support for us would lead to lost contracts from conservative clients and damage the family name in their suburban community. When I showed Callie the new proof, she broke down again. "We have to confront him," she finally said, but her eyes showed terror. That afternoon we drove to Derek's office in the suburbs. The tension in the car was thick. I wondered if I had done the right thing by pushing this. My donation had been an act of gratitude, but now it was causing this upheaval. Callie's hand in mine was cold. The price we paid for our love was always higher than for straight couples, but this was a new level of sacrifice. As we parked, I steeled myself for the confrontation that would change everything. Derek sat behind his mahogany desk, looking every bit the successful businessman in his tailored suit. When we confronted him with the evidence, he did not deny it outright. Instead, he leaned back with a sigh. "You do not understand," he said calmly. "Mom was getting agitated. Her talk about supporting your lifestyle was stressing her out, risking another stroke. I did what was necessary to protect her health and our family." His justification made my blood boil. "This is not protection, this is abuse," I shot back. "You drugged her to silence her voice because you are ashamed of us." Callie stood between us, tears streaming. "Derek, how could you? She is our mother." The argument escalated with raised voices and old grievances spilling out. Derek accused me of turning Callie against the family, of being the reason for all their problems. Callie was caught in the middle, her internal conflict on full display, as she tried to defend me while pleading with her brother to stop the drugs. The meeting ended with Derek threatening legal action if we interfered and warning that exposing this would hurt Callie's career and our social standing. Driving back, Callie was silent for long stretches. I could see the toll it was taking, the betrayal from her only brother, the fear of losing more family. That night she confessed her doubts. "Maybe he is right in some way, Raina. The world is not kind to us. If Mom speaks out, it could bring hate and protests." Her words stung, but I understood the pressure society placed on us. The prejudice was real, even in progressive Chicago. My own company had faced subtle biases after our wedding announcement. Yet I could not back down. The next days we consulted a lawyer specializing in elder abuse. The case was strong, but pursuing it meant public exposure. Callie wrestled with the decision, staying up nights pacing. Her awakening was slow, painful. She began to see how the family dynamics had always forced her to choose between authenticity and acceptance. The confrontation had forced us all to face the cost of our choices. The investigation deepened, with the lawyer gathering more evidence, including statements from Rosa. The nurse who felt guilty after the donation highlighted the issues. She confirmed Derek had pressured staff, claiming it was doctor's orders. Evelyn had been clear-minded enough to express her support multiple times before being medicated. This was not medical necessity but control. Callie and I visited Evelyn again, this time with the lawyer. We managed to get her temporarily off the higher doses under medical supervision. Her lucidity returned and she confirmed everything, hugging us both. "I am so proud of you too," she said weakly. "Love is love. Do not let them silence me." The moment was emotional, Callie breaking down in her mother's arms. Seeing that bond strengthened my resolve, but also highlighted the damage done. The drugs had taken a physical toll on Evelyn. Derek found out and the family war erupted. He called a family meeting at the old house, accusing us of exploiting Evelyn for our agenda. Other relatives who had stayed neutral now took sides, some siding with tradition, others quietly supporting us. The betrayals came fast. A cousin revealed Derek had used family funds for the bribes. The social fallout began with whispers in our circles and a drop in my business inquiries from conservative partners. Callie faced the hardest choice. In a tearful conversation, she admitted the guilt of choosing me meant losing her brother. The psychological toll was immense. I questioned my own actions. Had the donation been worth this pain? My love for her made me push forward, but the doubt lingered. We decided to move forward with legal steps to transfer power of attorney. The tension peaked as court dates loomed. The courtroom was tense as the judge heard the evidence. Derek sat stone-faced, his lawyer arguing medical discretion. Our side presented the record's witness statements and Evelyn's own testimony via video. The media had caught wind, leading to headlines about family feud over same-sex marriage support. The societal prejudice was on full display, with online comments calling us destroyers of family values. Callie took the stand, her voice shaking as she described the years of hidden support from her mom and the shock of the drugging. It was a powerful moment of her awakening. She spoke of the moral conflict, the pressure to conform, and the price of living authentically. I watched with pride and heartache, knowing this testimony would sever ties permanently. Derek exploded in the hallway after a recess. "You are dead to me, Callie," he shouted. "This is your fault, Raina." The betrayal cut deep. Friends distanced themselves, some fearing association with the scandal. My company lost a major contract. The sacrifices mounted, but through it all Callie and I leaned on each other. Our bond deepened in the fire of adversity. Evelyn was moved to a better facility under our care, her health improving. The judge ruled in our favor, granting us oversight. But the victory was bittersweet. The family was fractured irreparably. Callie's internal healing was ongoing as she grieved the loss of her brother while embracing her truth. In the months that followed, we rebuilt our lives with Evelyn now living in a private care home near us. She often spoke of her pride in our marriage and the courage it took to fight. Callie had quit her teaching job amid the backlash, but found purpose in advocacy for elder rights in LGBTQ families. I adjusted my business, focusing on more inclusive clients. The experience had changed us both, making us stronger, but leaving scars from the lost relationships and public scrutiny. Looking back at the moment I signed that $1 million check, I wonder about the path not taken. The discovery forced a reckoning with deep-seated prejudices and family secrets. Raina and Callie stood together on the lakeside path one evening, watching the sunset, her head on my shoulder. The happiness was real but earned at a high price. The internal conflicts had led to growth, the confrontations to clarity, the betrayals to new beginnings. The weeks after the ruling brought mixed emotions. Evelyn's recovery was slow but steady. She attended our small anniversary dinner at home, sharing stories of her own youth and regrets about not speaking up sooner. Callie listened intently, her face softening with each word. The bond between mother and daughter had been repaired, but at the expense of the larger family. Derek refused all contact and Laura followed suit, sending only legal notices about shared assets. I faced my own awakening in therapy sessions we started attending together. The therapist helped me see that my donation, while generous, had been driven partly by a desire to prove my worth to a family that never wanted me. The guilt over the pain it caused Callie lingered, but so did the pride in standing up for Evelyn. Social prejudice continued in subtle ways. At a networking event, a former colleague avoided me after learning of the court case. Callie experienced similar at her new volunteer work, but she pushed through, choosing authenticity over comfort. One evening as we walked along the lake, Callie turned to me. "I do not regret any of it, Raina. Mom is finally free and so am I." Her words lifted a weight from my chest. We stopped under a street lamp and shared a quiet kiss, the kind that reminded me why we fought so hard. The romantic happiness we shared was not the fairy tale version, but the real kind forged in fire. Yet the cost remained. Evelyn sometimes asked about Derek, her eyes sad. The family fracture was permanent. My business stabilized but smaller. Callie's advocacy grew, and she spoke at events about hidden elder abuse in conservative families. Each step forward carried the memory of the price paid. The public attention faded, but the personal scars did not. We hosted a small gathering for close friends and Evelyn, where she raised a glass to love without conditions. Her voice was stronger now, free from the fog of drugs. The moment filled the room with quiet triumph. Callie squeezed my hand, tears of joy mixing with the lingering grief. Over time we created our own chosen family. New friends from support groups joined us for holidays, replacing the empty seats at the table. The internal reflection continued for both of us. I often sat by the window replaying the confrontation with Derek, wondering if I could have handled it differently. Callie worked through her betrayal in journaling sessions, writing letters she never sent. The moral dilemmas had reshaped our values, making us more compassionate toward others facing similar struggles. A turning point came when Evelyn decided to write a public letter to the local paper, detailing her experience. She wanted to help others. The act required courage from all of us as it reopened the media interest. Derek called, once furious, but hung up before any real conversation. The silence spoke volumes about the irreversible damage. Callie and I took a weekend trip to the countryside to reconnect. In a quiet cabin we talked for hours about the journey, the decisions, the sacrifices. She admitted the family pressure had once made her question our future, but the truth had set her free. Our love emerged stronger, tested and true. Business opportunities shifted toward inclusive companies and my startup grew in a new direction. The prejudice still existed, but we faced it together with Evelyn as our biggest supporter. The awakening was complete. We understood that family is not always blood but the people who choose you. As another year passed, Evelyn's health stabilized enough for short outings. We took her to the lakefront where she watched Callie and me walk hand in hand. Her smile said everything. The path we chose had led to this moment of peace amid the ruins of the old life. The donation that started it all now funded ongoing improvements at Shady Oaks and similar homes through a foundation Callie helped start. Each check sign carried the memory of the discovery, but also the hope for change. We spoke at conferences sharing our story to raise awareness about elder rights and the hidden costs of prejudice. Raina and Callie stood together stronger than ever. The happiness we built was not without pain, but it was ours. The internal conflicts had resolved into clarity, the confrontations into growth, the betrayals into lessons. The price each of us paid, Evelyn with her health, Callie with her family, me with my peace of mind, was real, but so was the reward. In the end, was exposing the drugging and fighting for truth worth destroying family ties? Or should some secrets remain buried to protect fragile peace?